Hello everyone, and welcome to a different type of video. This isn't a typical series because I don't actually own Cartel Tycoon yet. It's currently just a demo. I wanted to try it out and let you all know what I thought of the game, and since it's still in development, what I find good and bad about the game might actually impact the final version of the game. So I'll do my best to be honest. I just wanted to say as well that this video is not sponsored. I received the demo for free, but I have not been asked to speak about the game positively, or even in this style. I just wanted to make a video, and I thought, since I only had 1 hour to play, I wouldn't make a normal series style, and instead I'll try something new. Now, as you might be able to tell if you've watched a few of my previous episodes, I do sound a little bit different here. It is because I am reading off a script, but the script is something that I've written myself. I wasn't asked to write a script, but because of the format of this video, I figured I sort of need to write a script. I can't just riff off the gameplay in the background, so yeah. Now, let me go ahead and tell you what the game is about and what it reminds me of, so you can get an idea as to whether you'd like the game, and then I'll go into more detail about my personal experience playing this game and what I liked and didn't like. Cartel Tycoon is a management tycoon game where you take control of a cartel. Who would have guessed that? In the playthrough I did, I started off with some territory controlled by my cartel, some drug production buildings, an airport to export the drugs, and a city, which seems to be where I clean my dirty money and do research. Around me is territory controlled by enemy cartels and the government. The tycoon aspect of the game feels a lot like Tropico, in the sense that where you place farms depends on the fertility of the soil. These farms need to get their resources to labs to be processed, so you connect them via roads. But in order to actually move the produce, while you can use your player-controlled characters, you typically use warehouses. This in turn creates a supply chain, which you can enjoy trying to optimize every single step of. As you progress in the game, and research new buildings and upgrades, you gain access to new farm types and new ways to process the crops you get from the farm. You gain the option to change where your buildings actually send their inventory to, and very quickly, you find yourself needing to expand. Now, a key part to this game that separates it from just another tycoon game is the territory and player-controlled characters. When you start your game, you're given one player-controlled character. They have perks as well. For instance, my character would increase the production of farms surrounding the building he was stationed in. They also help you move around products. For instance, you can send your character to a warehouse to pick up dirty money, and then deliver it to be cleaned. Another aspect of the character is their strength. Their strength determines how well they can defend territory, and how well they can attack and claim other territory. It's quite basic how it works, the higher number wins. With that being said, it's not as straightforward as going and claiming new territory because you are stronger. The game features a similar wanted level system that you would see in games like Grand Theft Auto. When you attack another cartel to claim their buildings or territory, you gain attention from the authorities. I believe the longer you take to claim, the higher your attention gets. I assume if you have a stronger character and you claim it faster, you'll get less attention, but I wasn't really able to test that out. The game also seemed to warn me that if buildings stayed full of products for too long, for example if farms or warehouses were full and weren't being moved around, that would also raise your attention, but I either didn't notice it or didn't have enough buildings for it to be an issue, because I don't remember seeing it happen. Also, I forgot to mention, but you can also unlock additional characters as you play, and you can send multiple people to claim land, and their strength is added together. I'm not too sure what conditions must be met to unlock these characters, as to whether it was just from quests, or random, or something else. I didn't really take notice. Now, I only played this game for about an hour, and I could see there were a lot more buildings and technology and paths to take that I simply didn't have the time to get to. So don't think by any means that I've covered everything this game has to offer. I'm just sharing my experience from the demo I played and the things I encountered. Now that I've covered what the game is about, let me go into my experience as a first time player. Keep in mind there is a bit of story that goes on, and I might touch on it a bit, so if you don't want spoilers, some of these spoilers even impact gameplay, please do close your ears for the rest of the video. Let me start off by saying, I was a bit confused at the start. I didn't really know what anything did, and what I was even meant to be doing. I read the descriptions of the buildings, but it actually took me quite some time to properly understand what each building I had unlocked did, and how to go about improving my production. Now to begin with, I saw this as a bad thing. I mean, I don't know how to play the game, how am I meant to enjoy it? But what I learnt pretty quickly was that I just needed to actually play the game. Now that might seem pretty obvious, but with a lot of games, especially ones of this genre, I tend to like to read what things do and start optimizing and thinking about every single move I make. I don't normally take risks because I don't need to. In Cartel Tycoon, or at least in my playthrough, I found that I was taking risks at every turn. I didn't know how many of each building I needed, and so I just got building them. I had decided that since I didn't have long to play this demo, I should just go in head first and try to learn. And at the time I wasn't sure if I enjoyed it, since it was so new to me, but upon reflecting, I think I preferred it. The mystery of not knowing what things do, actually learning from practice instead of from theory. My first playthrough, for example, ended with my only playable character getting killed in a massive explosion. An enemy car was being sent to one of my buildings, and so I thought, well hey, let me send my guy over to defend it. Turns out the car was a bomb, and just like that, my playthrough was over. And that's how I learnt that you need to protect your people. Now I'm going to be honest, this game gives off a very strong Tropico vibe. And that's not entirely a bad thing. I love Tropico. The only problem I would have is that the difference is Tropico seems to appeal to my creative side a bit more than Cartel Tycoon does. What I mean by this is, after I'm done playing Cartel Tycoon, I don't think I would have much of a reason to play it again. I don't really see myself going for a different playthrough. It will be the same thing every time, I think. And in Tropico, I feel like you have a few more options. You can sort of rule your population any way you would like, from caring to evil. But with all that being said, it is very clear that Cartel Tycoon takes a different path. I feel like instead of replaying to make your place look different or run differently, you would replay Cartel Tycoon to try and optimize it to its greatest potential. The game seems to be a lot harsher than Tropico in terms of where you place your buildings and how close your supply chain is. And that allows for a lot of heavy thinking trying to decide where to place things. On top of that, when you unlock new buildings and research, you almost have to remodel your buildings, as now you need different amounts of each product. I've talked quite a lot here, and I think I've covered all that I want to, so let me try to wrap it up. Do I recommend Cartel Tycoon? Yes. The game runs well, I didn't encounter any bugs that I can remember, and it felt finished. If this was a Tropico spin-off, I would believe it. Now I know I'm comparing it a lot to Tropico, and well, that's because I really enjoy Tropico, and this reminds me of it a lot. While we're on the topic, I will say that I prefer Tropico, and that's simply because I prefer city builders. I'm not exactly into the whole drug scene, although I can say you will still enjoy Cartel Tycoon, even if you're not well acquainted with the world of drugs. My advice for new players would be to go in head first on your first playthrough. Don't be scared to do things. Almost accept your first playthrough as an eventual loss, so try to learn as much as you can, so that the next time you play through, you can start off cleaner and better. The less you learn the first time around, the less fun you'll have the next time around. If you're still stuck, honestly, search up some tutorials if they exist, because I can definitely see some people being completely stumped at some points of this game. If I were to rate this game on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give this game a 7.5, and if I'm honest, the missing points are probably just because it's not my favorite theme nor genre. Now, it could be better, obviously. I feel like you could say that about most games, but I think all this game would need to be better is just a lot more of what it already has. More buildings, more drugs to create, just more things to make your playthrough last longer. Now keep in mind this rating and review is with 1 hour played, so the game could get a lot better or a lot worse. I did see there were more buildings and drugs to unlock, and I've tried to keep that in mind when making my review, although I don't know what they do, so that could also have a greater impact than my assumption that it's just more of what I had. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I don't know if I enjoyed making this style of video, but I definitely enjoyed doing something different. This took me quite some time to make. I'm actually reading off a script I wrote right now, even this bit, and the pauses. So if I sounded a bit anxious or off in this video, that's why. Once again, this video was not sponsored. I wrote my own script, and this is my own gameplay. The only requirement for receiving this free demo was to make a video on it, and here it is. If you did enjoy the video, please do subscribe. I'm trying to get to 600 subs by the end of the month, and it would mean the world to me. If you enjoyed this game, please go and check it out. The link will hopefully be in the description, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.